Joining me is Congressman Alan Grayson from District 9. Mr. Grayson, thank you so much for coming by today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
All right, sell me. Why should you be elected as a United States Senator, going from Congress and now you want to be a senator on the Democratic side? Why you?
Well, the most important reason is that seniors deserve a raise. I've been working on senior health my whole adult life. I started the Alliance for Aging Research in my 20s. My master's thesis was on gerontology and public policy. And what I've seen over all that time is that seniors are getting left behind. In the time since the last senior raise in Social Security, which is 40 years ago, the per capita income has gone up by 97%, and the value of Social Security benefits has gone down by 3%. Seniors have not had a raise now for 40 years. So I've introduced the Seniors Deserve a Raise Act to give them that raise, also fix the cost of living adjustment going forward. We didn't have any cost of living adjustment this year. It was completely unfair to seniors. And then on top of that, expand Medicare to cover eyes, ears, and teeth, and also eliminate the double taxation of Social Security benefits. You should not have to pay taxes when you pay in, and then taxes again when it pays out to you. That's why I need to be in the U.S. Senate.
Prognosticators say that the Security Fund, Social Security Fund, will run out by 2034. And of course, as you know, these numbers change from year to year to year. Is that true?
Well, if we do nothing, that's true. But the fact is that I've introduced a bill that solves the problem permanently. The Grayson bill is the only bill that solves that problem permanently, according to the scoring of the Social Security Administration. And the simple solution is to, as we say, scrap the cap, and to do it in a way so that the system is solvent forever. You know, LeBron James, the basketball player, he stops paying his Social Security taxes in the beginning of the second quarter of the first game of the season. And he doesn't pay anything beyond that because you only pay tax on the first $119,000 of your income, and he makes that in 1.5 quarters. So he's done paying his taxes in the first game. The remaining 81 games, he doesn't pay a penny. And then all the playoffs, he doesn't pay anything.
But then people would say, but he's never going to use Social Security either.
Well, look, the system is based upon the premise that it's something from everybody to everybody. He'll get his Social Security benefits the same way that everybody else does once he hits that age. But it doesn't make any sense that we say to people, if you make $119,000 plus a penny, you're excused from the system for the entire rest of the year. And that's why the system is in danger. It's because we treat different people differently and unfairly. We say that people who work for a living and make $50,000 or $100,000 a year, we say to them, every penny that you make is taxed. And then we say to the people who make $150,000, $1 million, $10 million, $30 million, we say to them, you don't have to pay any further.
Right. Let's move on to immigration. How would you solve the immigration problem?
Well, I think we need immigration reform. I mean, I've backed this idea that we have to accept reality, which is that we have 12 million people here in this country who are here and have been living here for the most part for more than a decade, and they shouldn't have to live in the shadows. According to some estimates, I've got 80,000 of them in my own district. So I would say that what we need to do is to have a situation where they're paying full taxes, where they have the same legal protections as everybody else. You know, they get paid for their work just like everybody else gets paid. They don't have to worry about their personal safety. You know, it's a sad thing, but we've had women who were raped and they were afraid to report the crime because they were here without documents. Well, that's a great tragedy. So what I would say is we solve the Ronald Reagan did. You know, Ronald Reagan had the right idea in this regard. He said, the situation is what it is. Let's make the best of it and then move on and enforce the immigration laws going forward.
And of course, the people will say, well, that was great and all good, but then they didn't enforce the laws that were on the books. Terrorism, what do we need to do?
Oh, I think what we need to do is what we're already doing, which is to keep a watchful eye and make sure that nobody can get into the country who would do substantial harm. We have to watch those people who are on the watch list and being watched. We have to continue to do that. We have to continue to do whatever we need to do to protect people who come to us who might do harm, and also protect U.S. citizens abroad. We're already spending $1 trillion a year on our defense. Well, not quite $1 trillion. There was one year that I voted for more than $1 trillion in a single year for defense, but typically it's half $1 trillion to $1 trillion. That's a lot of money, and that's the value that we get from our money, the sense of personal protection.
Let me talk about a personal thing. When people talk about Alan Grayson, I know you made this statement, and I'll say it, I want you to define it for me. You said that if you get sick, America, the Republican health care plan is this: die quickly. I mean, that probably got you more, in quotes, fame or more name recognition than anything you've ever done, to be honest with you, the way things tend to work out.
You know, it's a funny thing. I wish the fact that I extended the Florida tax break that everyone gets in Florida, and only 6 other states get this break, the Florida tax break for the sales tax, the deduction on sales tax, that's mine, okay? I extended that was my bill. I wish I got some attention for that. Unfortunately, the media never said a word about that, even though that's $1 billion a year for people in Florida. But to get back to your question, it was an interesting situation. You know, what happened was I was watching the president give a speech. I was in the audience. I was a House member. There were House members on the left who were Democrats, House members on the right who were Republicans. And the president turned to the Republicans and he said, I'll never forget this, he said, "What's your idea? Tell us your best ideas and we will include them in this bill." And then the Republicans, here's what they did. They started waving something. And I said, "What are they waving?" So I went over to the other side, and I looked at it, and it was a blank piece of paper. They were waving a blank piece of paper, and the president said, "What's your plan?"
They had no idea.
So I had to tell people. I went down to the floor the next day, and I said exactly what happened, and then I mocked them for not having a plan by saying, the Republican health care plan, don't get sick, and if you do get sick, die quickly. That's the story.
Well, and, you know, it created a lot of headlines for you. All right, good luck in your run. You've got to beat Patrick Murphy first, and then you'll face the Republican side. So thank you so much for stopping by, and good luck in your campaign.
Great to be with you. Thank you very much.
Just ahead, Marco Rubio says he wants to continue